Hello, everyone. Thank you so much and welcome back. It's just lovely to connect with you today. I hope wherever you are, you have lots of things to look forward to. I'm hoping that you are doing some gratitude journaling so that you're keeping your blessings to the forefront of your life. Today, I want to talk a little bit about start where you are. Start where you are and working with your pain or the painful events of life effectively. Now, it's not the most sizzling topic, but I put some sizzle to it. So just hang with me. I think that so much time is spent bypassing pain, trying to actively get out of pain, self-medicating, emotional pain, turmoil, the events of life, that a huge, mega, sparkling opportunity is missed. It truly is, because there is a garden variety and really several varieties of growth and transformation that can only be brought about by jumping into the exploration of pain, of painful events. So it would be the visual of you standing outside of a fire, if you will, a cave that's on fire, and having the courage to go in. Well, Sheila, that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to go into a cave that's burning. Won't I get burned? And will it catch me on fire? No. Number one, I'm speaking in an analogy. And number two, the Lord's protection. When you have the courage to enter in and do this transformative work, see, that's your protection right there. That's your protection right there. The courage is your protection. That's why when that decision is made, I'm going to deal with this. That's why you will see people automatically, almost very naturally, a calm will come over the individual, because that's the protection. That is the protection. That is the spark that is ignited. And I have to tell you that when you make the decision to deal with it, whatever it is, discomfort, and let's be honest, there is some discomfort up front because you're taken out of your comfort zone. But discomfort quickly gives way to a transformative delight that it just can't be expressed absent the courage to go deeper into the pain, to deal with it, and to transform. I want to share a couple case stories with you that really highlight the power of starting where you are. And a lot of times we want to, I want to get rid of the pain. I want to jump over it. I want to bypass it. It's like starting out in Texas and you want to get to Illinois and you just kind of want to shoot a cannon and get yourself halfway across the country. And it doesn't work like that. We need to get a ticket, book a flight, rent a car. There's some travel in between. And see, it's the travel in between. It's the travel in between that assures you get there safely, solidly, having seen all the sights and sounds in between the destination. So a lot of times we self-medicate, we're tapping around, tap dancing, don't want to deal with it. When you will get the most fruits, it will yield the most fruits by having the courage to stop and deal with things head on, starting exactly where you are. A couple years ago, I worked with a woman who had her third marriage had ended, and she quickly went on a bender, spending sprees, shopping. She was dating back-to-back men, very toxic relationships, just all over the map. And just had not had any downtime, even in between the other marriages that ended. And so I said to her, very simple, straightforward question with compassion: have you thought about taking a little time off? to heal, a little time off solo to really go into some of the issues that have popped up because you got a lot going on. And she almost got agitated, a little irritated and agitated. And she said, I don't even know how that would look. I mean, how would that look? That scares the hell out of me. Be alone and do what? Be alone and do what? Okay, I do have a couple of ideas. Well, it kind of looks like a warm, reflective cocoon state. You're not off in isolation. You spend time with people who really elevate you. But the majority of that time is really spent paying attention to what you're eating, the literature that you are reading, reflective work, journaling work, really doing some mapping for yourself from your past and your present. And so that just didn't appeal to her whatsoever. So I didn't hear from her for a long time. It was about a year later. And she resurfaced and she said, that cocooning, transformative work you talked about, I think I'm ready for that. And it was a deeply gratifying experience to watch a woman who had literally, from the age of 14, had always been in a relationship, series of relationships. House was always full, nonstop, literally and figuratively afraid to be alone. And to watch her take that journey with courage. And I remember her sharing, Sheila, I cannot believe that I've never had a time in my life to sit with myself, to get to know myself. Taking an afternoon to read a book, taking a weekend to take a drive, check myself into a hotel, actually sitting down, spending quality time with my friends, resting my spirit. I never, ever thought that I would be not just okay, but actually good without a relationship. There's a couple guys I'm dating, but I won't, either one of them could let it go further. I just won't let it because I really don't want to disturb this time. I thought I was going to give it 7 or 8 months. I think I want to go another year and just really focus and heal. This is healing. And you see, she was very resistant to go into that fire. What does it look like? I'm not used to spending a weekend by myself. I'm not used to coming home and navigating alone time. What in God's name would that look like? Well, what it looks like now is the best time of her life. Is the best time of her life because she had the courage to start exactly where she was. And she had the courage to heal. I worked with a gentleman some years ago, and very smart, very intelligent, extremely high functioning in life. I would comfortably use the word successful on the surface of his life, but there were things going on internally. And he confided that he was battling voices in his head, battling energies and voices. And I said, well, what do they say? What do they say? And he gave me a rundown. And I knew immediately based on what he said, it wasn't anything coming from let's say a light source, if you will, because he was almost being tortured within himself mentally, and he could block it out just enough to get to work, get home, what have you. And he said, Sheila, I've taken medication. I've gone to see a psychiatrist. There's been no headway. And I asked him a little bit about his spiritual beliefs, and that really wasn't an area that he wanted to entertain. That's fine. I don't take people places they don't want to go. But he was open to feeling better, and he was open to levity and goodness of life. And I said, well, what I'm going to share with you, it may surprise you a little bit, because people had worked with him and, let's quiet the voices, let's get rid of the voices. I said, well, I don't necessarily want you to work on quieting or getting rid of the voices. I wonder if you're open to inviting some additional voices in. And he kind of chuckled. He was like, I don't know if I can take any additional voices. I said, well, sounds like the voices that you're hearing, they're not the friendliest. They seem kind of destructive. I wonder if you're open to inviting some, let's call it gentle generals in there. Some generals, those voices to kind of calm things, bring some order to things. And he said, it seems a little bit abstract. I don't even know if I can grasp onto it. I said, you've already grasped onto it. You're telling me there's voices in your head, and I'm telling you, let's invite some more. But just let's invite the more pleasant ones in there. And he laughed again. He said, I'm open. I just, how do I invite them? I said, well, what you can do every day, twice a day. I'd like you to just sit quietly. You can be in your car. You can be at home. I'd like you just close your eyes and really just invite, just audibly or inside your head, say, I just really invite some gentle, calm voices in my head. That's all you need to do. And he said, I don't know. I don't even know if that's going to work. Okay, but it can't hurt, because certainly what you're going through now is really impairing to you. And he said, Sheila, I will try it. Now, this was not a man of faith or a spiritual man, but I am a woman of faith. So Lord knows I prayed for him that day. And in the evening, the gentle generals that I mentioned, they were angels. And I prayed because angels are very subtle. Degradation, dark influences are loud and boisterous, drowning things out. And I prayed, God, please pump up the volume. They got to be a little bit louder. He needs to be able to hear it. He's got to be able to hear it. And wouldn't you know that over time, he said, I will do it. I will do it even more than that. I'll do it twice a day. I will sit quietly and ask for those gentle generals to come in. And over time, it was very gratifying for him to share, you know what, Sheila, I cannot say that those voices are gone, but those gentle generals, I think they showed up because I enjoy my girlfriend a little bit more. I feel a little bit calmer at home, at work. I feel a little bit calmer in my skin. And I said, do me a favor. I know you kind of call them in periodically, but I'd love if you write down what the gentle generals are saying, how they're directing things. I'd love it if you start to write that down every day in a journal and really start to review that for yourself, just very lightly. What are the affirmative messages that they're giving you? And I wonder if you could take a couple minutes to just read that out loud for yourself. He said, yeah, okay, I can add that on to it. And I could only tell you that just through that process of the acknowledgement of pulling forth some goodness in what was in his mind, pulling that forth on the paper, pulling that forth in his life. That was healing. That was transformative. He worked with his pain. He started where he was. No one said put the focus on eliminating this degradation, because sometimes that can be difficult to do, depending on where you're starting from. Well, let's not eliminate. Let's add some things in to drown it out, if you will. So I think you see where I'm going with this. Start where you are. Start where you are. It's very difficult. It's very difficult within seconds to cross the Grand Canyon. But if you do it one step at a time, you're going to get there. Folks, everything is a muscle. In the last story I want to share with you, a young girl, she was in her early 20s, filled with rage, just total rage. had been severely emotionally abused, by her parents growing up. She was in college and she kept saying, I want to be normal. I want to be normal. I'm angry all the time. I hate all the time. It's just in my way. Well, I say, we all want to be normal. For what it's worth, you seem pretty normal to me. You're just kind of pissed off about being dealt a bad hand, some bad cards early in life. And I invited her to use that rage. Let's use the rage, because right now the rage is directed at you. It's messing up your life. I wonder if we could transfer some of that rage, that energy of rage, because rage is potent. Let's talk about your goals, what you want. You mentioned your fitness goals. You mentioned that there are things that you want to do in terms of your education. You mentioned there's relationships, a certain kind of relationship you want to have. Rage is like that'll catapult you if you transfer it. And she was able to, over some months, really start to not turn away from her feelings and anger at her parents. That was dealt with, but she was able to use some of that fire in her belly really towards some amazing fitness goals that she got a lot of traction on, towards some things that she wanted to do to shift her time management, use some of that rage towards supporting her voice in a more proactive way. So again, a lot of times we jump over what can be a blessing. Blessings exist inside of pain, but you got to have the courage to look at it and to deal with it and to sort it out and to organize it and decide what you want to keep and what you want to leave behind. That's what dealing with it is. Everything that you don't deal with, it's like a refrigerator. You don't clean the bottom of your refrigerator out in 2 years. You can keep storing fruits and vegetables there. You're going to open it up and it's going to be rotted. Everything that was ever there will always be there because that time was not taken to clean, sort, purge. I think everyone gets my drift. Thank you so much. I hope this has been helpful. Inspirational Shorts with Sheila. I'll catch up with you soon.